Hi, and welcome to our video from the historic coastal town of Hastings in East Sussex. I hope you like what we put together. Why not subscribe so you don't miss any of our future travels? Hastings is in the southeast of England, about an hour and a half away from London by train. On today's journey we'll be heading along the beach towards the pier, before heading back towards the old town via the Trinity Triangle, and then finally heading on towards Roquenor. So let's start with the beach then, and if you're expecting golden sands then I'm afraid you're going to be disappointed. But what you do get is a free hot stone massage. And so you know, this was filmed on a Wednesday in early September, and our starting point is just opposite Pelham Crescent, which sits just under the ruins of Hastings Castle. And this is the beach made famous by the Normans when they decided to invade in 1066. And to reflect that you'll find this piece of artwork, The Landing, by local sculptor Lee Dyer. We'll discover more of his works as we wander through town. It's just over 60 miles due south of here until you reach the Normandy coast, near Dieppe. But today's a little more peaceful, under the bright blue skies of a late English summer's day. We're going to head on a little further until we reach the town's pier. We love the traditional British seaside, and there's nothing more traditional than, of course, the pier. Now the pier has an interesting story. Built originally in 1872, its heyday would have probably been from the 1930s right up until the late 60s, but like so many British seaside towns, Hastings suffered. It took storm damage in the 1990s and was closed in the mid-2000s, before suffering a devastating fire that destroyed the majority of it in 2010. However, like a phoenix from the ashes, it rose again and was reopened in 2016, a more modern affair, and in so won the 2017 Sterling Prize for Architecture, and now it offers stunning views over the town and beach. Now I can't see any birds, can you? Oh, hang on. The renovation work has given it a real modern feel, but there's still plenty of history there, right in front of you. And that you can see in the distance is St Leonard's, the next town along. And, as you notice, the beach runs all the way along. And if you're observant, you'll notice the promenade actually has two levels. There's the one at street level, and there's one just below it too. Can you see it? Now that's as far west as we're going. We're now going to head back to town, taking a few sights as we go. And if you wonder what the pier looked like originally, then you can take some clues from the White Rock Theatre opposite. As we stroll past the War Memorial, you can see some of the seafront has been lovingly restored, whilst other places need a little bit of TLC, but still retain some of their glorious heritage. And the next place I want to point out is the Trinity Triangle, a place for independence, nestled between Claremont, Trinity Street and Robertson Street, part of the larger America Ground, a pseudo-independent state set up in the early 19th century. And you feel that spirit lives on just a little bit today. And as we stroll on, we discover more historical buildings like the Old Town Hall, and then some more modern like Hastings Borough Council, sporting the coat of arms of Hastings, which is an amalgam of the Cinque Ports plus the Norman Lion. So we've now reached the part that I've labelled Old Town, and we're starting with George Street. Now this is an eclectic mix of shops, restaurants, bars, cafes, and I'm going to take you through it at high speed so you can check it out. Now if this isn't a sign to drop anchor, two pubs on the opposite side of the street to each other. But I'll be good. Just the one, Mrs. Wembley. But what's this? A game of chess? Now that's very thought-provoking. But do you know what? That's not what's caught my eye. It has to be these beautiful sculptures in the corner of the park. And again, they're by local artist Lee Dyer. So time for a question. Is this what you expected from Hastings? Drop us a comment below, we'd love to know. So we get to the end of George Street and we join the High Street. Well, I say we join the High Street. We do briefly before taking a slight detour up Swan Terrace to pick up Hill Street. And isn't this just a beautiful view back to St Clement's Church? St Clement's Church was rebuilt in the 15th century after it and much of the town was destroyed during the French raids of 1377. And there's another reason for this detour, and that's to take us up Croft Road. Fans of the historic period drama Foyle's War may recognise this, and it's easy to see why it was chosen. It doesn't seem to have changed in decades. So do you recognise this? It's then only a small walk along one of Hastings' many Twittons, the little passageways that connect the roads, till you reach the High Street. So back on the High Street, and it's an intriguing High Street because it's just full of interesting little stores and places to just wander off and explore. Then there's the odd link to Lord Horatio Nelson. The more we wandered, the more we discovered, and the more we were surprised. This wasn't what we was expecting from Hastings. So much history and so much charm. At the top of the High Street we crossed over the old London Road, past the Cyril and Lillian Bishop RNLI lifeboat to All Saints Church, and then headed down All Saints Street. What a beautiful little street, just packed with history. Now this looks like an interesting little pub. And see that crown? Yep, it's by Lee Dyer too. And at the end of All Saints Street we reach Rockinore. I love saying that, Rockinore. And it's here we discover Lee Dyer's Winkle. Now come on, you're better than that. Here, if you're a fish lover, you can't go wrong. And those tall black huts were for drying fishing nets in the days before nylon, when the nets were perishable. A stroll along here and you'll find RX Fisheries, the Blue Aquarium, Hastings Fishermen's Museum, before you come to Rockinore Beach. And if you're wondering about that RX, it's the fishing code for Hastings and the surrounding harbours. You'll also discover Hastings Miniature Railway that offers rides from here along to the Marine Parade. You'll also find the East Hill Lift, a vernacular railway that transports you to the top of East Clift Hill for stunning views over the landscape. Now, strictly speaking, we're now on the Stad, an Anglo-Saxon word meaning landing, and we're actually on the site of UK's largest beach-based fishing fleet. And yes, it's a working fleet, so please take care as you wander around. Now, we've had a great day in Hastings, but there's so many things we didn't get to do, like the Hastings Contemporary Gallery, an amazing round of miniature golf, or a spin on the boating lake. But I do hope you like what we put together, and this has perhaps inspired you to visit Hastings. But before I go, I'm going to leave you a link to our video from the Battleground, and also other English coastal towns. Thanks so much for watching, take care, and safe travels.